Hi, my name is Carlina, and this is a beginner fresh air flow. It's designed to hit your shoulders without being backbend intensive. But if you have really tight shoulders, some of these poses might require a strap. And likewise, if you have very tight shoulders, listen carefully for the cues that I give you related to the sensations you might experience during the pose, instead of looking and trying to see exactly what the pose looks like. Check that for reference, but also make sure that you're listening to your own body rather than trying to force yourself to some end goal of what the pose looks like. Oftentimes, it's more important to experience the sensation wherever you are in your body than it is to try to push beyond a given sensation, beyond where you actually feel a stretch and opening into just a little further, trying to emulate what a pose looks like in somebody else's body. So listen to your own body. Grab a strap, have it handy, and let's get started. Stand at the top of your mat in mountain pose, Tadasana. Ground through your feet, pressing down through the big toe, pinky toe, and the center of your heel. Lift up through your arches. Engage your quads, your glutes, and draw some energy up through the arches of your feet into your pelvis. Engaging the muscles of your lower abdomen, even as you inhale and especially as you exhale. Pull that energy up further into your chest, rolling your shoulders open, letting the crown of your head lengthen, all of that energy connected from the ground all the way through the crown of the head. Breathing deeply here and just experiencing the sensation of standing with an open and broad chest. Arms are down by your sides, palms are facing open as much as possible. If you're anything like me, when I first started, my palms wanted to face in towards my thighs. So again, this is the first opportunity. You're just really looking for as open of a chest as you can get here so that your breathing is its most expansive. So find that sensation of expansive breathing. Don't worry about affecting your breath just yet. Just notice what it's like to be in a position that allows you to breathe. Check back in with the glutes, check back in with your quads, check back in with your abs, your shoulders, and the crown of your head. Bring a gentle tuck to your chin, and that will help you to lengthen through the back of your neck. Begin to balance your breathing. Maybe 4 seconds on your inhale, 4 seconds on your exhale. That's a really great place to start. And while your mind is inward and focused on that balance, if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, this is a good time to do that. Now, with your arms down by your sides, really open, wide. Open the palms out. Lift the elbow creases upwards, still just rotating the shoulders into external rotation as your arms are down by your sides. Begin to flip your palms back behind you and then continue that motion until the back of your hands is facing towards your thighs. And if you can continue even more than that, flipping the palms out again, but from the opposite direction, you're bringing your shoulders into deep internal rotation as they just hang neutrally by your side. So let's do that a little bit. Back to external rotation, opening the palms, the armpits, the elbow creases as far out as possible. Back to internal rotation, rotating the back of the hand in and then the palm out from the opposite direction. External rotation, internal rotation, rolling the shoulders through their entire range of motion while the arms just hang neutrally. Couple more times, move a little faster. Then come back to external rotation. Palms are facing forward, armpits are as open as possible, chest is broad. Begin to lift your arms overhead, all the way overhead until your shoulders, arms are stacked all in one line, and then move through that same internal and external rotation of your shoulder with your arms overhead. Let's do it 15 or so times until your shoulders begin to generate some heat. Just looking, not judging how much range of motion you have, just exploring what exists in your body, turning the palms and the elbows. That's where you're going to kind of see this expressed, but ultimately this movement is happening because your shoulders are what's generating that momentum. So internal and external rotation of the shoulder, maybe a little quicker. And then back to external rotation. So your pinkies will rotate in towards each other and your palms will face a little back. And then drop your arms back down by your sides, opening wide. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Flip your palms to point forward and then begin to press the back of your hands back and then press your palms forward. Back of hands back, palms forward. So it's kind of like you're high-fiving, double high-fiving somebody overhead. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth again, just building heat in the shoulder girdle, warming all of that up. Breathing into it, finding a cadence that matches your movement so that your breath stays fluid. Couple more rounds. And then drop your arms back down by your sides. Stretch your fingers out wide. Flip your palms towards the floor. Bring your pinkies together behind you as much as possible. And then cross your arms out in front of you as much as possible. Pinkies back behind you, arms out in front of you, back and forth, crisscrossing your arms out in front, and then trying to draw your arms together behind you as much as possible. Let's go 10 more times or so. Again, building heat, going to that point where your shoulders actually burn a little bit. Coming back to neutral, going back up to the top, palms facing forward, back to that double high five, rotating back and forth, back and forth. Try to keep the chest lifted and the core engaged. And then back down by the sides, pinkies behind you, arms crossed in front, same thing. I learned this from my friend Evan, who teaches rocket yoga in Atlanta, and he has some of the most open shoulders ever, which helps with the breathing. Come back to this neutral Tadasana position, arms down by your sides. Arms up overhead, palms touch together at the top, reach up, look up, and inhale. Exhale, swan dive down and forward fold. Uttanasana, bend your knees as much as you need to, look in at the top of your chest. Ardha Uttanasana, hands to your shins to the floor, look forward and inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Curl up one vertebra at a time, all the way back to standing, Tadasana mountain pose. Reach your arms all the way overhead, palms touch together at the top. Inhale, look up, and then exhale, back, arms down by your sides. And again, arms overhead, reach up, inhale, look up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway, look forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, curl into your Uttanasana and let your gaze turn inward. Curl up one vertebra at a time. Bend your knees a little bit to soften the rolling in your low back as you stack your T-spine, and then finally uncurl your neck. Arms reach out and up overhead. Inhale, look up, and then exhale back to Tadasana mountain pose. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Reach up, look up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Curl in and looking at the top of your chest. Inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine, plant your hands onto something, your shins or the floor, and really find that lift through the low belly, rock the weight into the ball of the foot. Exhale, curl in, Uttanasana, looking at the top of your chest. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and then curl up one vertebra at a time. As your neck unfurls, reach your arms up overhead. Inhale and look up. And then exhale, mountain pose. Moving on to Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation A, arms overhead, reach up, inhale, look up between your hands, palms touch together at the top. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen halfway and look forward. Rock the weight forward into the ball of the foot, and then exhale, plant your hands and step back to plank pose. Find a little bit of a cat spine just in between your shoulders, so a little bit of spinal flexion supporting the hollow body position in your plank, abs strong, hips strong. Inhale here, exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down, 8-point salute. From here, you can lower onto your belly and take a cobra, or if you're already ready for it, take an up dog. Maybe take a cobra if you're a true beginner. Inhale, open the chest, shoulders away from your ears, lengthen your spine, and focus on lengthening through the abdomen more so than how vertical you are in your spine. Exhale, rock it back to your downward facing dog. Either hands and knees or just push up to downward facing dog. Looking at your navel. Feet are hip width distance, hands are shoulder width distance. Grounding down through the base of the index finger, base of your thumb, and then again, as much as possible, spreading the weight all over the entire foot. Big toe, pinky toe, if possible the center of the heel, but if the heel does not touch the floor, engage your quads and stretch the center of the heel towards the floor. Again, just going for that sensation that your quads are super engaged and that your low back is long. That's where you're looking for the most sensation. Another couple of breaths here. Try to find that 4-second inhale, 4-second exhale. On your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold, Uttanasana, looking at the top of your chest. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back, look forward, grounding your hands onto something. And then exhale, fold, Uttanasana, curl up one vertebra at a time, bending your knees as much as you need to. Roll all the way to the top, reach your arms all the way up. Look up overhead, palms touch together, and then exhale, Tadasana, arms down by your sides. Inhale, your arms overhead, reach up, look up, and stretch long from your lats through your fingertips, abs engaging, and then exhale, swan dive down. Forward fold, looking at the top of your chest, bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine. Ardha Uttanasana, hands to the shins or to the floor. Exhale, curl. Roll up one vertebra at a time with knees bending, softening the slow unfurling of your body. Arms reach up overhead, look up, inhale, and then exhale, arms down by your sides, Tadasana. Time for a little side body stretching. Stretch your arms up and overhead, reach up and look up, arms stretching as long as possible, and then bring your hands shoulder width distance overhead. Use your left hand to grab onto the back of your right arm, your tricep area, and then lengthen again through the right arm. Try to connect the right shoulder down into the spine. Bring your head into neutral. Maybe the back of your head will press into your left arm a little bit. That's okay. Ground down through your feet, engage your glutes and your quads, and then begin to stretch over to the left with your fingers. Your fingers will stretch over to the left, but your hips will begin to counterbalance and stretch a little bit to the right. So allow that to happen. As your upper body moves in one direction, your lower body will move the other direction, and you're really just looking for a sensation of stretching in the right side body or the right side hip. Couple more breaths here. Hands, finger in any intentional position. Chin is a little lifted and your eyes can look up into third eye center. Come to the top with an inhale, and then unwind the arms, swoop your arms wide and hug yourself with your right arm underneath your left arm. Then bring the back of your hands together to touch if you can. If not, just stay hugged up. Wrap twice for eagle arms. So you're going for a sensation now in the back of the shoulders, maybe one shoulder more so than the other. It's just a little bit of a stretch underneath the shoulder blade here with these eagle arms. If you have full eagle arms, lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders. Everybody look up a little into third eye center, take an inhale, and then step your feet a little wide, exhale, fold. in between your legs with soft knees. Bend them a little bit and just let the weight of your upper body with this upper body bind begin to kind of release the lats, release the rhomboids, the muscles that support the shoulder girdle. Couple breaths here. You can sway a little side to side if you need to. Let it be loose. Release your arms. Bring your hands to your hips. Look out and lengthen your spine. Take an inhale with an exhale. Flat spine. Stand it up. Arms up at the top. Reach up, look up. Inhale. Step your feet back together. Arms down by your side. Tadasana, mountain pose. Opposite side. Reach your arms out and up overhead. Look up in between your hands, and then right hand grabs left tricep. Stretch long through the entire left side, but try to keep the left shoulder plugged into your socket. So you're going to be using the muscles that you'll be stretching in the next pose. Lats, rhomboids, helping to keep the shoulder girdle intact. Stretch up one more time and then stretch over to the right with the left fingers. Left hip moves to the left as your fingers counterbalance over to the right. The feeling of stretching might feel more just like tension as a beginner, and that's okay. So wherever you feel that you're tight all along the left side, that's where you're going to be focusing your breath. And if you feel that tightness, that means that you're moving more or less in the right form because you're finding that stretch. So a couple more breaths here. Try to keep your hips and your shoulders in one line, chin a little bit lifted, eyes into third eye center, neck is also long, back of head can press back into the right arm, come on up to the top, inhale, release the arms, swing your left arm under your right arm, hug yourself, or bring the back of your hands together, or bring your palms together to touch. Wherever you are with that, the tighter you squeeze, the more sensation you'll get. So if you're just squeezing yourself, that's one thing, but if the back of your hands are together, squeeze them together. They're not just lightly resting there. The more you squeeze, the more stretch you get, even in full eagle arms, forearms pressing together, elbows lift up. Inhale, everybody look up, step your feet a little wide, and then exhale, fold in between your legs with soft knees. Just let gravity do the work for you, swaying it out a little bit, relaxing your neck, relaxing your shoulders, away from your ears. Gazing a little inward. Let the weight of your arms in this bind help to release the shoulders. 2 more breaths. Unwind your arms. Hands to your hips, lengthen your spine, look forward. Inhale, exhale, flat spine, stand up. Arms lift you up, look up in between your hands. Palms touch together and then arms down by your sides. Roll your shoulders open, stretch your arms back out and up. Interlace your fingers at the top, release your index fingers, keep your thumbs crossed, and then hug your biceps in towards your ears. Get the arms as straight as possible, no bend at the elbow. Chest is lifted, glutes are strong, quads are strong. Rock the weight a little bit back into your heels and then lift up again, connecting down through the heels, lifting up through the fingertips. Drop your head back, and maybe if you feel tight in your throat, just stay there. Otherwise, you can begin to push your hips forward and stretch your upper body back at the same time. Again, this is a counterbalance, so you can't do one without the other. Think of also lifting up out of your legs. So there's a vector of energy from the floor and straight up that helps to support the back bend over the low back. The low back already is bending in this direction. So if you bend it more, you're bending it beyond the point where it's anatomically meant to function. So continuing a line of energy up out of the low back and just kind of drooping over the low back, the upper body, as it begins to open, but only going so far as you can keep your breath deep and resonant. Eyes relaxing, face relaxing. Inhale to the top, and then exhale, step your feet a little wide and fold forward. Soft bend in the knees. Relax your upper body, maybe sway a little left and right, move your hips around, squat up and down a little bit. Inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, step it back to plank pose. Inhale, plank, exhale, lower down, inhale, cobra or up dog, and then exhale back to downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Back in downward facing dog, hip width at the feet, shoulder width at the hands. Spread your fingers super wide. wider than you think. Take a moment, examine the fingers, make sure the index finger presses down, no gap in between the index finger and the floor. Check back in with that low back. Find that same length as when you're standing neutrally. Even if that means bending your knees a little bit. Bend your knees a little bit and focus on lifting your hip crease up instead of sinking your heels down. 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. One more inhale. Step your feet together. Turn your knees and your toes out. Your heels will stay together. And then squat down. You can walk your hands a little back if you need to. You kind of be in a diamond squat, but with your hands on the floor. And then roll forward into plank from your diamond squat. And then back to a diamond squat with your hands on the floor. And then back to plank. 6 more times, 8 times total. Meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Fold into Uttanasana, look in. Inhale, lengthen halfway, flat back. Bring your hands to your hips. Take an inhale, flat spine. Exhale, stand up, arms reach you up. Inhale, look up in between your hands. Press your palms together at the top. And then exhale, hands down by your side. Tadasana, mountain pose. Reconnect with your breath. Reconnect with your intention. Lifting up through the arches as you ground down through the big toe, pinky toe, and center of your heel. Quads engaging, glutes engaging. Abs are slightly on, even on your inhale. Shoulders rolling open, crown of the head lifted, chin slightly tucked. On your next inhale, arms up overhead, palms touch together at the top. Look up, and then exhale, fold, curl into Uttanasana, looking at the top of your chest. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen your spine and look forward, and then make sure your feet are together. Sit your hips low and swing your arms back overhead. Chair pose, Utkatasana, look up in between your hands. Take a big inhale as you sink your hips low, stretch your fingers away from your hips, and then exhale, fold, plant your hands, and step back, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale to lower through your vinyasa, and then meet back in downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, take a second, look back in towards your navel, sink into your heels as much as possible, engage your quads. Inhale, look forward, step your right foot in between your hands, pivot your back foot to the floor, sink into that, squaring shoulders and hips. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Inhale into warrior one. Look up in between your hands. Arms are lifted, shoulders and hips, both squaring as much as possible. Take 3 more breaths to refine this position. Grounding through the back of the left foot and lifting the left arch, engaging the inner thigh and glute. Sending the right hip a little back, left hip a little forward. Keeping a deep bend in that front knee. Look up in between your hands. 1 more inhale. Exhale, plant your hands around your right foot. Step it back, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Left side warrior one. Inhale, look forward, step your left foot forward. Exhale, the right heel down. Square the shoulders and the hips. Inhale to stand. Arms lift you up. Look up in between your hands. And then again, looking for sensation of engagement in your right inner thigh and glute. Lift through that right arch as you press your foot down, particularly on the pinky edge of the right foot. Deep bend in that left knee. Make sure your left knee is stabilized and tracking forward over the big and second toe. 1 more inhale to look up. Exhale to plant your hands and move through your vinyasa back to downward facing dog. When you get there, look in at your navel. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, lift to a flat back, halfway. Lengthen your spine and look forward. Exhale into chair pose, feet together, pressing. Knees and inner thighs engaging together and arms lifted overhead. Weight back in your heels. Knees are tracking back so that the toes are visible, but our eyes are looking up in between your hands. On your exhale, stand up. Inhale, look up in between your hands, press the palms together, and then exhale, arms by your side. Again, through sun salutation B, let's add on a little bit. Arms up overhead. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, chair pose. Arms overhead, hips low. Everything in the legs squeezing together. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, and move through your vinyasa back to down dog. Right side warrior one. Inhale, look forward and step your right foot forward. Back heel pivots down as you exhale, ground it down. Inhale to stand up. Shoulders and hips squaring all the way to the top. Reach up and look up. Inhale, gazes in between your hands, maybe palms pressing together. Exhale your hands to the small of your back. Hook your thumbs together. Stretch your fingers long and away from your shoulders. Try to roll your shoulders open. Inhale and look up. And then exhale, hinge from your hips, but keep a straight line from your fingers through the crown of your head. So you're only going about halfway, and there's a straight line from your left heel, hip all the way through the crown of your head, chin slightly tucked, abs engaging, fingers stretching you back. Maybe this will help to square your hips a little bit. 2 more breaths here. Unwind the thumbs. Inhale, reach yourself back up to the top. Inhale, look up between your hands, palms pressed together, and then bring the base of your hands in prayer to the back of your head. Hug your biceps in towards your ears and stretch your elbows up towards the sky or the ceiling, keeping the biceps in tight, a straight line from your ribs through your elbows. Eyes look up into third eye center, and your head can press back a little bit into your hands, making this almost a little bit of a back bend, but definitely helping to neutralize your neck position. 2 more breaths here. Arms back straight, look up between your hands and inhale. Exhale, plant your hands and move through your vinyasa, meet back in downward facing dog. Same thing, left side. Inhale, left foot steps forward. Exhale, plant the right foot ground. Inhale to stand. Arms reach you up as you square your shoulders and hips. Look up in between your hands. Stretch your arms up long as you sink into your legs. Exhale your hands to the small of your back. Hook your thumbs together, opposite thumb on top. Stretch your fingers long. Roll your shoulders open. Maybe drop your head back and inhale. And then exhale, hinge from your hips and fold halfway. Straight line of energy from your right heel through your hips, squaring the hips even more and lengthening all the way through the crown of the head. Keep the shoulders rolling open. Keep stretching those fingers back. 2 more breaths. Unhook your thumbs. Inhale back to the top. Stretch your arms up. Look up in between your hands. Bring your palms together to touch. Bring your prayer to the back of your head. Hug your elbows in towards your ears. Stretch your elbows up towards the ceiling or the sky, and lean your head a little bit back into your hands, eyes looking into third eye center, chest lifted, and try to bring a nice straight T-spine into play here. So you're looking for the sensation that you're lifting up out of the center of your chest. Chest is open instead of collapsing. Release the arms back up. Inhale, look up between your hands, and then exhale, plant your hands around your left foot, step back, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog, holding, looking in at your navel, and breathing now. Couple more breaths here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Fold into Uttanasana, looking at the top of your chest. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen your spine and look forward. Exhale into chair pose. Hips low, arms high, legs together, look up. Inhale. Exhale to stand, arms lift you up, look up in between your hands all the way, and then exhale, arms by your side, Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, inhale, arms lift you up. Reach up, look up, and inhale. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana, look in. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Hands to the floor, to the shins. Look forward and lengthen. Exhale, chair pose. Hips low, arms high. Inhale, chair, looking in between the hands. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands and move through your vinyasa. Back to downward facing dog. Looking in at your navel, lift your right leg up. If your left heel is not on the floor, you can step it up an inch or so, not too much. You don't want to shorten the stance a whole lot, but do go to the point where you feel like your left leg can support your shoulders being even. So if your right shoulder kind of wants to twist a little open, if you kind of want to twist open to the right a little bit as you lift your right leg up, you might need to hop your left foot up a little bit so that you can really engage that quad muscle and support the evenness in your shoulders as you stretch back and as long as possible through that right leg. Abs are still engaging. Notice if you have a tendency to let the belly bow out, keep your abs strong. One more inhale. Exhale your knee into your nose, right knee to your nose, hold it, cat spine, lift the knee up high, look forward, step your right foot in between your hands, swivel your back heel down, and cartwheel open to warrior two. Try to do that with as little momentum as possible. Keep the abs and your core as the place from which you're drawing power, and then lifting that power up out of the floor through the legs. Deep bend in the knee, right knee, making sure that that thigh is externally rotated. The knee is tracking over the big and second toe. You can maybe even see a little bit of your big toe to the inside of your knee. Hips are opening, which means they're going to be kind of pressed to the left, and that back leg is straight. It's at a diagonal, but it's straight. So your right heel and your left arch are in alignment. Your left toes point up to the top left corner of your mat. But that leg has no bend at the knee. Your inner thigh and quad and glutes are so engaged that the left leg goes straight. Chin is to the right shoulder and looking forward. Both arms are in one plane, lifting you up out of the hips and stretching you wide and long through the chest so you can breathe here. One more inhale, warrior two. As you exhale, bring your hands to the small of your back. Interlace all of your fingers, press your palms together. If you have tight shoulders, you may not be able to go deeper than this. So you can just have your hands as clasped as possible and press your palms together. And then with the elbows bent, just focus on rolling your shoulders open. If you want to take it deeper, if you're able to, straighten the arms all of the way and then roll the shoulders back open. But if you're in some kind of in-between space, this might be where you get to use your strap, because if you're going to straighten the arms, you have to straighten them all of the way. Otherwise, you put pressure in the shoulder in a weird place when the elbow is bent. So find a strap, find a width that you hold onto the strap that is doable for you to straighten the arms, or just keep the elbows bent intentionally and focus on the shoulders. Inhale, open the chest and look up, and then exhale, fold at a diagonal. Upper body down at a diagonal to your hips, shoulders opening. Couple breaths here. Let gravity do the work for you. Release your strap, release your clasp. Stretch your arms long out of your body, still planted on the floor. Upper body still down at a diagonal. Arms are stretching to the top left. Hips are sitting back to the right. And your right knee is still in a strong warrior two position. So don't let that knee dip in towards the midline. This is where you refine your warrior two legs. Walk your hands around your right foot. Pivot on the back heel or on the back toe. Runner's lunge. Plant the left hand, lift the right arm, look up, inhale, twisting in runner's lunge. Plant your right hand, step back plank pose, inhale plank. Exhale, lower through your vinyasa, meet back in downward facing dog. Looking at your navel. Then lift the left leg up. Adjust as necessary to match yourself out from side to side. This time, if you cannot ground evenly or you do not have the strength in your upper body, the tendency will be that the left side body will want to open. So keep it squared up with the right side shoulder. Press back evenly from your hands and your shoulders, your chest towards the right thigh. And straight back through that left heel. Quads engaging, glutes engaging, pelvis is neutral. Exhale, knee into nose, left knee into nose. Curl it in, lift that knee higher, look forward. Inhale, exhale, step it through. Swivel your back heel down to a 45, and then cartwheel open, warrior two. Heel to arch alignment, left heel, right arch. Deep bend in your front knee. Knee is stacked over ankle, but you can see the knee is in a trajectory that if it were to move forward, it would be moving forward over your big and second toe, not dipping in and breaking that midline. Midline would be kind of like where your belly button bisects your body. You want to keep that knee from crossing that imaginary line. You can even see a little bit of the big toe inside of the knee. Very important. That's why I spend so much time talking about it. Left shoulder is where your gaze is. Chin is to the left shoulder. Eyes are looking over the left arm. Right arm is lifted to match. Chest is lifted. Abs are strong. One more inhale, and then hands to clasp behind your back. Either palm to palm pressing with shoulders opening, palm to palm pressing with arms straight, shoulders roll open, or find your strap. Find an appropriate distance between your hands. Roll your shoulders open, arms as straight as possible. Everybody inhale, look up, and then exhale, fold, hinging from the hips at a diagonal. Right side corner is where your head is going, and hips are moving back into the left. So a diagonal in that direction. Let your neck go, let your head just do what it's going to do, and let the emphasis be on the shoulders opening, the hands dropping towards the floor over the back of your head. Couple breaths here. Let gravity do the work. Do not muscle into this. Keep the shoulders in strong external rotation here. That's what you're working on until you become uber flexible, in which case you can use internal rotation, but you can just focus on where you are right now. The sensation is a lift at the back of the scapula. Your shoulders are rolling open. Your chest is broad. You're breathing. You're engaging the muscles in between your shoulders. Release the strap. Release your clasp. And plant your hands to the floor at a diagonal out in front of you, stretching your fingers long as you sit your hips back and keeping in mind that left knee. 3 more breaths here. Inner thigh of the left leg engaging to keep that knee strongly and thigh strongly in position. Walk your hands around your left foot. Lengthen your spine, look forward. Inhale as you pivot onto the back ball of your foot, and then ground through the right hand, lift the left arm up. Inhale, look up. Chest is lifted, hips are squaring. Twisting in runner's lunge. Exhale, plant your left hand, step it back to plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Looking at the navel, ground down through your heels. Lift the low belly up. Next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Fold. Looking at the top of your chest. Inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine. Ardha Uttanasana. Flat back. Exhale, hands plant, step your left foot back, runner's lunge around your right foot. Lengthen your spine as you square your hips, glutes engaging. Gaze is forward. Plant your left hand, lift your right arm up, twist, look up to the right. Make sure your chest is open, so check in with that bottom shoulder. Roll it open all of the way, and then use that extra openness through the chest to lengthen more. And find more breadth across your chest, deepening the twist, bringing the left ribs around more. Reground your hands inside of your right foot and begin to walk to the left, pivoting around until you're in a runner's lunge facing the back of your mat. So runner's lunge around your left foot towards the back of the mat, lengthen the spine, same thing, squaring the hips, front knee stacked over your ankle, glutes engaging, inner thighs engaging, back leg is lifted and strong, no bend at the knee, kicking straight back through the heel. Now take it the twist, right hand plants, roll the shoulder open and then stack the left shoulder over the right shoulder, inhale and look up. Right now I'm pregnant, so I'm taking my bottom hand and moving it wider, which if you have any belly at all, and that gets in the way of you twisting, that's a nice option. So keeping that in mind for your twists. Bring it back around. Walk halfway back to the front of your mat. Set up for a wide-legged forward fold. Hands are underneath your nose and feet are wide apart on your mat. 4 or so feet apart on your mat. Toes are turned in. Heels are turned out. Hands are underneath your nose. Inhale, lengthen your spine and look forward. Exhale, fold. Rocking the weight forward into the ball of the foot. You can keep your hands planted, or you can stretch them back behind you to help pitch that weight a little bit forward. Super important here that your glutes and your quads are engaged so that you can bring that weight forward and lengthen your low back as you stretch. Inhale back to a flat back, hands plant underneath your nose, lengthen your spine, look forward. Move your right hand directly underneath your nose, and then roll that right shoulder open, begin to turn, open to the left, open the left arm up, and take a twist. You can bring the back of your left hand to your sacrum so that the twist is a little bit shorter and you don't have to worry so much about that top shoulder if it has a tendency to not want to open. You can still get a nice twist this way, and that's the option I'm going to take so that I don't twist too deep in my abdomen, so that this twist stays in my upper back to protect my belly during pregnancy. Lengthen through the crown of the head, weight stays forward, switch sides, left hand back, plant it underneath your nose, lift your right arm out to the right, find that length, find the weight forward, and then exhale. You can open the right arm up more and look up at the right arm, keeping your chin to the right shoulder and lengthening through the crown of the head as you sit the hips back but keep the weight into the big toe. Or you can bring the back of your right hand to your sacrum to kind of shorten the moment arm of your twist and keep it safer, depending on maybe if you have a middle spine injury, or if you're pregnant like me, or if your shoulders are just so tight that you cannot bring that top shoulder into external rotation right now. Bring it back to center, both hands underneath your nose, lengthen the spine, inhale, look forward a little, and then walk all the way back around to the front of your mat. Runner's lunge, square the hips off. Find the length of the back leg and the stacking in the front knee and ankle. Lengthen your spine and look forward. With a big inhale, strong abs, stand yourself up, swing your arms overhead. Crescent lunge. Shoulders and hips are squaring. Back heel is lifted. You're on the ball of the left foot. Glutes are super engaged to help stabilize you here. Check in with that front knee. So there's a tendency again that the knee wants to collapse inward towards the midline, towards your navel. Keep it from the thigh rolling open, the knee tracking over the big and second toe. Arms are up, inhale, then eagle arms here, wrapping the right arm under the left arm, maybe hugging yourself, and that's where you stay. Maybe back of hands together or palms together to touch. If your palms reach together, everything squeezing together, lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders, drop your head back, little bit of a back bend here. Everybody else, just focus on the sensation between your shoulder blades. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. As you exhale, unwind the arms, lift them back up overhead, look up in between your hands. Exhale, drop your elbows out like cactus arms, rotate your palms in towards each other, tilt your fingers a little bit back, and really focus on the sensation now in between your shoulder blades. Those muscles engaging to draw the elbows together behind you, cactus arms. Stay as deep as you can in those legs. Keep the glutes engaging. Take it as much of a back bend as you'd like here for the next 3 breaths. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, cartwheel open. Warrior 2, heel to arch alignment. Arms in opposite directions, looking out over the right arm. Inhale, look over the right arm. Exhale, drop your right arm down and your left arm up. Extended side angle. First, stack your left arm over your right arm. 2 shoulders stacking vertically here. You can shorten this up by dropping your elbow onto your right thigh instead of all the way stretching fingers to the floor or a block. Next, exhale, extend your left arm long towards the front of your mat. Palm facing down, chin is tucked to the left armpit, and your eyes are looking either down the left side body or up into third eye center, kind of at your fingertips, finding length, kind of like in that side body stretch, all through the ribs on the left side. Maybe it's tightness, maybe it's stretching, whatever you feel, you're feeling it in the ribs and the hip on the left side. Front knee is staying strong, inner thigh engaging. And pivot into runner's lunge. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step it back, plank pose, move through your vinyasa, back to downward facing dog. Almost done here. Let's just repeat that opposite side. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your left foot forward, runner's lunge. Strong in your spine. Glutes are engaging. Abs are engaging. Stand it up, crescent lunge. Arms reach you up overhead as you square your shoulders and your hips. Look up in between your hands. And then swing your left arm underneath your right arm. Either hug yourself, bring the back of your hands together, or your palms together, pressing. Eagle arms. If you have full eagle arms, lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders and tip it a little bit back into a back bend. Otherwise, just focus on the sensation in between your shoulder blades, a stretching sensation. With the left arm wrapped under right, you may feel it more in your right shoulder, or you might be different depending on where you are in your body. Unwind the eagle arms. Everybody look up back in between your hands as your arms stretch up, and then drop your elbows into cactus arms. Same thing, elbows dropping down and maybe a little bit back, focusing on the sensation of engaging the muscles in between your shoulders to draw your shoulders together, palms facing each other, fingers tipping a little back. Take as deep of a back bend as you'd like here. Another 3 breaths. Make sure your legs stay in good alignment. Make sure your left knee stays tracking forward and not dipping in. Glutes engaging. Both arms back up. Inhale, look up. Exhale, open. Warrior 2. Back heel pivots down. Left heel in line with right arch. Knee stays the same. Back thigh begins to rotate open now. Hip rotates open. Arms extended. Left arm back forward, right arm back, chest is lifted, abs are strong. Drop it into extended side angle, left elbow to your thigh or fingers stretched towards the floor. Stacking right side over left side, check in with your left shoulder. Make sure it rolls open or your right shoulder will never get all the way open. That's even if you're propped up on your elbow, that shoulder is open. Next, exhale, right arm extends long towards the front of your mat. Really pressing down through that back pinky edge of your right foot to feel the stretch all the way through the right hip and right ribs. Stretch might mean tension for you, but that's exactly what you're going for. Breathe into that. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. Pivot into runner's lunge. Look forward and inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, step back to plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, drop onto your knees, tabletop position. Extend your right leg back behind you. Pivot your foot down to the floor like a warrior 2 foot, so it's all the way flat. The arch of your right foot's in line with the toes of your left foot. Move your left hand a little forward of your shoulder, roll that shoulder open, and then stack your right side body over your left side body, modified side plank. So if you had trouble finding the stability and the sensation and the connection through the right side body in your extended side angle just now, this is another pose that you're going for that same lengthening sensation through the side body. First, you just stack and find the connection from your foot through your hip so that you're stable. And the kind of a lift, so that bottom shoulder rolls open so you can lift out of the right arm. But on your next inhale, prepare, and then exhale, stretch your right arm long towards the front of your mat. Palm faces down, chin to the right armpit, eyes either looking down the side body or up into your fingertips into third eye center. And then see if you can find that stretching sensation in the ribs and in the hip on this side. If your hips are pushed a little back, and there's a break in your hips and the front side of your body, if there's a dip there, try to push your hips forward until there's a flat plane of energy through the front body here. One more inhale. As you exhale, press through your left arm, stand it up to a T. Your arms stretch you in opposite directions as you lift up out of that left knee. Crown is stacked over the left knee, arms in opposite directions like a T. Take an inhale, lift up one more time. Exhale, right hand to your right thigh, roll the shoulder open, and then exhale, stretch your left fingertips to the right and your hips to the left. Gate pose. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Inhale to the top, exhale, pivot around, tabletop position. Inhale, tabletop, exhale, right knee stays down, left foot stretches back, pivot the foot to the floor, open the hips, and stack left side body over right side body. Move that front hand a little forward of the shoulder for more stability. Keep that right shoulder rolling open as you stack the left arm over the right arm. One more inhale. Exhale, extend your left arm long towards the front of your mat. Turn your chin to your left armpit. Look down the side body or up into your fingertips and third eye center. Take 5 more breaths here. Try to find that connection from the outside edge of your left foot all the way through your fingertips. Core is engaging. Hips are pressed forward so there's no break in the front of the hips. One solid line of energy. One more inhale. Press out of the right hand. Stack your shoulders over your hips like a T. Crown of the head reaches you up. Inhale, gate pose. Exhale, left hand to your thigh. Roll the shoulder open. Inhale, stretch the right arm up. And then exhale, stretch it over for your side body stretch. Hips pitch a little bit to the right as you stretch your right fingers over and to the left. Going for that same stretch sensation, tightness sensation in the right ribs here. Breathing for 3, 2, 1 more inhale. Pivot back around, tabletop position. Tuck your toes underneath you, kick back through your heels, and keep your hips stacked over your knees as you walk your arms long. Drop your chest down towards the floor. Puppy dog pose. Arms are as straight as possible, and arms are perfectly in line with your shoulders. So that's really only about the space of a very wide palm in between your hands. No bend at the elbows. Keep the lats engaged so the shoulders are plugged into your body, and the back of your shoulders, you may feel a lot of tension here. So if that's the case, that's okay. That's where you would want to feel it if there was any. That's where you breathe very slowly your breath into that sensation and see if the slowness and the softness of your breath can help you to release any of that. Even just confronting it with your breath is a huge step in the right direction. So no judgment. Just sensation and breath. Couple more rounds. Bring it back to tabletop position. Maybe shake your head to the left and your hips to the right and sway a little bit opposite side. Side to side, and then plant your left hand underneath your nose, stretch your right arm out and up, look up at the right arm. Inhale, exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left arm, drop your right shoulder and ear to the floor, thread the needle, supporting your descent with your left arm. Once you're down there, you can keep your left hand planted or stretch it long out in front of you to complete a straight line of energy from your left fingers to your left hip. Hip squaring. Neck is long, gaze is to the left. If you'd like to take it deeper, bring the back of your left hand to your sacrum, maybe even tucking the fingers around into your right hip crease. Otherwise, find what works for you. You're kind of just going for a stretching sensation using the weight of your body to kind of pull you long in the muscles of your right shoulder. So sensation is in the right shoulder. Breathing for another couple rounds of breath. 2 more. 1 more inhale. Ground the left hand to the floor. Press yourself down, lift your body up, stretch your right arm back out and up, look up at the right hand. Exhale, right hand underneath your nose. Left hand reaches out and up, look at the left hand. Inhale. Exhale, left arm through underneath the right, left shoulder and ear to the floor. Support your descent with the right arm. And then all the way, once you find yourself down, neck is long, right arm can stretch long, or back of the hand to your sacrum. Take another 4 breaths here. Thread the needle, looking to the right. Hips are squaring. 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. 1 more inhale. Exhale, right hand back down. Press yourself up. Stretch your left arm back out and up. Inhale, look up at the left hand. Exhale, back to tabletop position. Set yourself back onto your knees. Just take a kneeling position here for a moment. Grounding yourself down. Relaxing. We're going to do a little bit of a breath exercise. It's called Nadi Shodhana. We're going to do it from kneeling. It's just going to balance out your breathing from nostril to nostril. If you have tight shins, you might want to sit on a pillow or a bolster, or you can just sit in a cross-legged position instead. If you choose to take kneeling, you're going to bring your heels as close together as possible so that the bridge of your foot is as flat as possible on the floor, spreading your toes as wide as you possibly can as well. Left hand will be on your left knee, palm facing up, index and thumb finger to touch, the rest of your fingers spreading wide. Bring the tip of your index finger and your middle finger of your right hand in between your eyes, light pressure in between your eyebrows. Your ring finger and your pinky finger will lightly rest on the outside of your left nostril, thumb lightly on the outside of your right nostril, and we're just going to alternate back and forth in between your nostrils as you take your inhales and your exhales. This will help you to determine which side is your dominant side that you breathe from. If you can see if you can bring the sensation of evenness from side to side, balance out how you breathe and bring some awareness of how you breathe even deeper into how you function. So take a normal exhale, then lightly press on the left nostril, pinch it off, and breathe in through your right nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinch off the right, out through the left. 2, 3, 4. In through the left. 2, 3, 4. Out through the right. 2, 3, 4. In through the right. 2, 3, 4. Out through the left. 2, 3, 4. In through the left. 2, 3, 4. Out through the right. 2, 3, 4. In through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. In through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. In through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. In through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. In through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. 2 more. In through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. In through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right, and normal. Arms clasped in your lap. Move yourself to a regular kneeling position or regular cross-legged position. Sway it out side to side and slowly make your way into shavasana. Try to keep the sensation of balance here. We'll be here for a couple of minutes together, just breathing and being. Don't worry about affecting your breath. Do keep your breath as a point of focus so that your mind can stay in your body rather than wandering around to things and other activities that you're going to do later or that you've done in the past. Just be here now, noticing the sensation of laying on your mat, grounding, and breathing. And if you move beyond that to a place of not thinking at all, that's totally fine. But trying to keep yourself at least present by linking your mind into the experience and the sensation of being on your mat and breathing. Begin to bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe circles with your wrists, with your ankles. And in the next couple of breaths, make your way onto one side. Notice your connection with the floor. Notice any sensations of balance and ease, relaxation that you may have cultivated throughout your practice, and try to keep those with you and present in your movement. Make your way back to sit, hands at your heart. Take a moment to reflect on your practice, review your intention. With freshness and ease, namaste.